90 minutes with Mathematical, coming to you live from our studios in Wasimi in Ogun State, Nigeria. But I am reaching you from my base, from my home in Lagos. Well, this is the beauty of technology. This morning is very, very special. My editorial will not be read this morning, but I know that you are hooked on it. Just go out and buy a copy of the Vanguard or the Guardian, or go online and read it on Complete Sports and Niger Times. It is an intriguing editorial this morning, so don't miss it for anything. This morning, I have the greatest pleasure to introduce to you a man that has been on this show once before. But let me start this way. These are not the best of times for Nigerian sports generally, but particularly football. With the failure of the Super Eagles to qualify for the World Cup, Nigerians appear to have turned their backs generally on Nigerian football. The other national teams, except the Falcons, are not doing so well as well. And most people blame the administration for this state of affairs. Are they justified? On the eve of the AFCON 2025, not much interest is being shown by Nigerians. And we are just wondering, have you abandoned the Super Eagles? This morning, we are all going to have the great pleasure to listen to the President of the Nigeria Football Federation, President Ibrahim Musa Busau, member of the Order of the Niger, who is joining me from his home in Busau. He just mentioned to me that I visited him 17 years ago. I remember the occasion when I went to see him in his home. He was shocked to find me at his door. Good morning, President.
Thank you very much, Mathematical. How are you, sir?
I am very good. And welcome to the show. This morning, we are just going to go straight on to have this conversation. Later in the show, people will be able to join us on telephone. Let me just give them the telephone lines now so that they can write it down. And when it is time, I will call for telephone calls, and then we will take one or two calls. The first is 0700 22 55 1037. The second is 08127 82 8497. But remember to put the country code if you are calling from outside Nigeria. Once again, 0700 22 55 1037. 081 27 82 8497. Let's start this way. I just announced to the world that Nigerians are not happy. Most Nigerians, in fact, every Nigerian is not happy about Nigeria's failure to qualify for the World Cup. You are a Nigerian also, and you feel the same way. But tell us in your own words how the Nigeria Football Federation is feeling, particularly with that failure to go to the World Cup. How are you taking it? How are you feeling?
Well, thank you very much, Mathematical. Once again, good morning, and thanks for having me on this very important show that you have been running for quite a while now, and Nigerians are very happy about it because you use this podium to let Nigerians know wherever they are all over the world to know what is going on, particularly about Nigerian sports. So, and I know for quite some weeks, you have been doing all you can to see that you catch me up on this program. But we thank God today we are here. and we take it off from here. Well, as you said, as leaders, as people that God has bestowed with the responsibility of managing the affairs of football in the country, it is our own wish and plan to see that we achieve what we plan to achieve for Nigerian football, especially the qualification for the World Cup. And when it didn't happen, you know, whoever would tell you that he's not happy about it or he feels bad about it, I think will be number one to say that, because we knew what we did. As far as we are concerned, we did our best to ensure that all that we need to do to prepare the team to face the task of qualifying for the World Cup, we did our best in that direction. And but at the end of the day, it couldn't happen. So therefore, I cannot even tell you the level of feelings we'll have. Deep, as you said now, maybe Nigerians, what is going on? We're talking about the AFCON and nobody is saying anything. Well, I can tell you that we're in a very sad mood for the past three weeks, I can say now. And I know how Nigerians are feeling, but we must to try and see how we can take it off. And then in the next couple of days, precisely in the next 8 days, let us see what we are going to do for AFCON to see how we can revive the confidence and the hope of Nigerians to the Super Eagles.
President, if, as you said, you did your very best, it was reported that the NFF actually apologized to Nigerians for that failure. Why did you apologize if you did your best? Why was it necessary to apologize?
Well, as leaders, as leaders, you must take responsibility. Whatever happens, you can do your best. You can do everything that you feel is the best for you to achieve what you plan to achieve. But the ultimate decision is from God. So therefore, whatever comes the way, as leader, you must accept it. As leaders, you must accept that responsibility of that failure. But to cut it short, I knew quite well, because when you talk about the Super Eagles, it's a public entity that everybody has interest on. And whatever is going on there, a lot of people are aware of what is exactly going on there. If there are problems, if there are issues, people must know. It cannot be everybody will know, but certain number of people may know, and they make it public for everybody to know about it. So I knew quite well that we did our best. But when what happened, there is nothing we can do as leaders. We must accept responsibility. And as such, we have to apologize to Nigerians on behalf of the entire system, whether we, the administrators, or the players themselves, as well as even the government, because government has a key role to play. We as Nigerian Football Federation are holding that team on trust on behalf of the government. So government has a critical role to play. So we are all in that struggle to ensure that at least the Super Eagles qualify to the World Cup. But when it didn't happen, we must take responsibility, and therefore Nigerians deserve our apology in that direction.
On the eve of one of the two matches that we played for the World Cup, players protested. And that's like a shortfall in your contributions to the team. Why does the NFF, from the reports that we get, why does the NFF always owe players, coaches, allowances, bonuses? It is only before crucial matches that, you know, either the coaches or the players, or when we lose, somebody protests, somebody comes up with NFF is owing us, NFF is owing us. Even the dead, my colleague, Christian Chukwu, still says NFF, before he died, was owing him. Why is the NFF owing everybody like that? Why can't we just get things done, particularly in the area of paying people what is due them when it is due them? Don't you have money? What is the problem?
Well, thank you very much. You know, when you are particularly talking about the Super Eagles, uh, I know you are aware of it. Uh, Super Eagles, as the senior national team of the country, or is the major brand that projects the image of the country. Therefore, government has a very serious interest in it. And not only in Nigeria, there is no any senior national team in the world that government did not intervene to ensure that it achieves the successes it deserves to achieve, because, as I have said earlier, it's the number one image of the country when it comes to issue of football. So it's not that, and I'm happy to say that since we came on board almost more than 3 years ago, this kind of thing has never happened with the Super Eagles, this particular issue, because we go to the Nations Cup, we started the qualifiers for almost 2.5 years now. This kind of issue did not arose. And this little one that happened at the eve of the playoff, the money we are talking about is not even significant. It's not even much significant, because people thought, some people were even going on national television to say that NFF are owing the Super Eagles since 2019. Some will even say they are owing the Super Eagles almost 30 match bonuses, which is not true. NFF is not owing anybody that kind of money. The money we are talking about that time, we're only talking about appearance fees and daily allowances of the last matches against Lesotho and Benin Republic.
Why didn't you just pay? Why didn't you just pay when it was due?
Well, you see, as at the time where I'm talking to you, this money to prosecute this World Cup qualification is being provided to the NFF by the government. And as at the time that we played that match, the money for that were not released to us. And when the thing started, the money was being released for such payment to be executed. And it was promptly done. So what I'm saying is not an issue of, I can say, look at it. Or you say sometimes, you talk about Christian Chukwu. I knew quite well for years since I became president. I asked Christian Chukwu, there's no way I can touch public money without having evidence of why I'm paying that money. Can you please give me your contract? Can you please give us the record of what you are owing NFF? I can't find it in NFF. And he couldn't provide me with those evidences. We have a lot of them, not only Christian Chukwu. They're still there. They will go there and they'll tell you their NFF is owing them. But when you call them and ask them, can you please give me the contract that you signed with NFF? And can you give me the details of your outstanding? You can't get it from them. And there's no way I can authorize the payment of public funds without having an evidence of why we are paying that money. So you see, sometimes it becomes very complicated. People will just say they are on side, but they will not like to tell the people the truth, or they will not come to make sure that what they need to do, they do it. Even if you don't have this record, there are people that you work with. There are people that appoint you, they are still alive. So most of them are still alive. There are people that you work in NFF. I even used to tell them, please come and meet the people that you work with, see so that you can get those records, so that we can see how we can pay it up. But when I did not see anything, there's nothing I can do about it. But what I'm telling you is that no matter how you are going to see it, it's not easy. Not only in NFF, every government organization. There must be some time that you see that there are some little time that when you're expecting money, when the money did not come to you at the time that you needed it, you can have those kind of shortcomings. And by the time you get the money, then you see how you can settle it up. But maybe sometimes if certain things happen, people did not try to be a little bit patient, then such kind of thing can happen. But we can plan. The highest thing we rely on is maybe some sponsors, or maybe we rely from some little money we get from people or CAF. All these monies have time that they come to us. We don't have control on them except when it is time for those kind of monies to be released. And they are not tying this money to say that, okay, because you have qualifier in October, we are going to give you that money in October. If the money is supposed to be given in December, they cannot give it to us in October. But when we get the money, we pay it. And as I've said, for the past 3 years that we have been managing the affairs of Nigerian football, such type of thing does not happen that you used to say that it used to happen, you used to hear it. Even on the area of the other payment you are talking about, the situation is less. The situation is less. But there's no any government organization, because government is, we know, it's a continuous process. There's no government any public organization that you will not have this kind of little issues of having outstanding between you, either with your contractors or between you and your employers, and the rest of it. But we try as much as possible, as I know, under my leadership, to make sure that at least we do our best to reduce it to the barest minimum. And
okay. Okay, well, you have mentioned government. Let's leave that aside. But, you know, I belong to the football fraternity in a way, and I hear the conversations around. And several of my colleagues through the generations have complained that out of their desperation, every coach wants to coach the national team, one of the national teams, because that is the cash cow for them. So do you have records of coaches that have been hired by the Nigeria Football Federation that were not given contracts? They just go there because they were invited, oh, you are coaching this, you are coaching that, and several of them end up not actually having the contracts. And they are all around us and they tell us this story. So when you are asking for evidence and there is no written contract, so how is that resolved? Does it happen?
Well, yeah, what I mean, as if you can listen to me very well, when we came on board, we tried to see how we can solve this kind of problems by ensuring that whenever we want to engage a coach, we engage him with a contract, because that is the key thing that he can rely on. Even if we are not there, tomorrow he can come and claim his dues. Now, if you listen to me very well earlier, I said, I used to talk to them, please, can you come to NFF? There are people still there that during your engagement with NFF, they knew all that happened. Can you please come there so that you can meet with those people, so that we can see how we can put some papers that will legalize what we are going to do to see how we can pay you. Because as you said, a lot of it, that kind of thing happen. And then it is important for people like you under this medium and under the relationship you have with most of your colleagues to advise them. There's no desperation in that. There's no desperation in calling you to serve your country that you cannot demand for a document, for a paper that you will be proud of tomorrow, to wake up in the morning and tell your children, this is my paper when I was appointed as a coach of social national team of Nigeria. The money issue, even if you have outstanding, they can still use that document to claim their money. But you can use it to be proud of saying this. Why is it that whenever we are going to hire any foreign coach, that man will not come and start his job until he has his contract? So what is desperation about? For somebody to say he's desperate because they call him to come and manage a national team. And don't forget, in most cases, we employ these coaches 1 month, 2 months, some even 3 months before they even commence their job. So why is the desperation? That you go and sit down and start working, and then you up to the level that you are going to finish what you are doing for the organization without having a document that will support what you are doing. Because there's no way anybody can direct anybody to go and make any payment from public funds.
We heard you clearly, how players or coaches start work, because that's the reality, whether it is desperation, for whatever reason, many of them start work without getting written contracts with the NFF, and so the arguments go on. It is a no-brainer that beyond today, no coach should take up appointment with NFF without getting a contract. There should be no desperation. That's what you have said. Well, we were
only NFF mathematical.
Yes.
I said even with our clubs, we're having such type of problems. I'm telling you this. So no coach should go and take any job with any club and NFF without making sure that he has a written contract on that. Because even now, we're having a lot of that problem through our player status committee. When somebody wrote that the club is owing me this, and they ask him to bring your contract, bring your document to support it, then it become a problem. So it's not only about NFF, it become a general problem with our coaches. So let us try and see how we can take it up from here to enlighten them, to make sure that there's no desperation about it. When I call you to come and serve, that means I have seen something in you that you can definitely provide to us. Therefore, you have your own right to bargain, you have your own right to accept what we are ready to give you before you start the job. So let us not put any desperation in whatever we are going to do in trying to provide our services to our nation, to any club that is interested in us.
Okay, very good. If you recall, I mentioned that you were mentioning government at the start of this competition, at the start of this conversation. And the NFF is supposed to be an independent organization outside of government control. We have gone through the story of the NFF and government interference and all of that and all of that. So, and it's all about funds. It's all about funds. So let us have an idea, the kind of funding that you get and the sources of the fund and how these funds are managed and accounted for, so that people have a clear understanding that it is not that there's a misappropriation of funds from here and there. We have the impression that FIFA is giving NFF money, CAF is giving NFF money, there are sponsorship monies from different sources, and government yet is giving NFF money. You said you waited for government to give NFF money to be able to pay the players. So what is the relationship really between an independent NFF and the government?
Well, NFF go to government to seek for intervention. And as I've said earlier, go and check, go and ask. There's no country in the world, especially for the senior national team, that government did not intervene when it goes to higher tournaments. Because government has serious interest in what they want to achieve with that team. As I said earlier, the NFF as a body, when you talk about independence, is more about development. But for the national team, we are holding the national team on trust on behalf of the government. Because it's a government, it's a public team, it's a government team, so we're holding it on trust. So whenever we go to the government requesting for money, we are requesting for intervention on certain critical issues. And if we are requesting for that intervention, we make it very specific. Anybody can say anything. Tomorrow you can hear that they gave NFF 2 billion naira, 3 billion naira, 10 billion naira, 5 billion naira. It's a different issue. What people failed to understand was that if NFF were given 2 billion naira in 2020 to prosecute an AFCON, going to 2021, going to Cameroon to execute an AFCON tournament, you can't give NFF 2 billion naira to think they can execute AFCON in Morocco. Because that 2 billion naira in 2021 is talking to about over $5 million as at 2021. But now, that 2 billion naira is not more than $1.5 million. So when people had about 5 billion, they thought the money is just coming to NFF to stay there. And 80 to 90% of what we do for the team when it comes to that tournament, we do it with foreign currency. That is the dollar. Because you are leaving the source of the country and you are going there to stay throughout the tournament, be it accommodation, be it the logistics, be it the allowances of the players, everything is in foreign currency. So when somebody had that in 2021, they gave NFF 2 billion naira. Now they give NFF 7 billion naira. They start taking, look at them, they give them this kind of money. They have stolen all the money. But they have forgotten they should go back and check at the exchange rate. And as I've said, not all the time that we go to government to look for money. Just when it is like the Super Eagles match, which is highly capital intensive, we seek for intervention. And if we're seeking for this intervention, it's very, very specific. We don't just write to government to say, we want you to give us intervention of 2 billion naira. No, we say it very clear. Match bonuses of players, so amount, and this is the amount. Everything is spelled out. It's not that we just say, give us money, and government will just take money and give us. So therefore, it becomes very easy for whoever wants to know what was done with the money to get it up. Because in our submission, we said, we're giving the players this amount, we're paying this amount for accommodation, we're paying this amount for flight, everything is there. It's not that we just request for money. And then when you go to the issue of FIFA funds, FIFA give annual grants. And people don't give NFF money and say, please, we're giving $1 million as annual grant, and they give us, and that's the end of it. Whenever people send money to NFF, there is guidelines of how that money will be spent. When people send the money, they can say 15% of this money should be used in referees development. 20% of this money should be used in women football development. They send a guideline categorically on that, on how that money will be spent. So therefore, if people send money to me, there is limit to what I can do with that money to sponsor the Super Eagles. Because people are sending their own private auditors to come and check our account on what we do with the money, what we did with the money, and then they are going to come and check, do we actually spend this money that is meant for referees on referees? Did we actually spend this money that is meant for women football on women football? If that is not done and they query it, there's no way people will release the next tranche of money to NFF. So also it happens to CAF. So it's not that people is sending money to NFF and then NFF will decide on what to do with it. Or the moment the money come now and we have the problem of Super Eagles going for a match, we can use that money completely to execute Super Eagles match. You can't do that because they have their own intention of what they want to achieve in the area of football development. And basically, it's more of developing football. That is why they are more critical in referees development, coaches development, youth football, female football, only certain percentage, and they state it on administrative activities. But they can't tell you to take that money and start going for competition. So people will just say that people gave money to NFF, this money, what are they doing with it? The entire money people gave to each and every member association, 211 member association in the world, including Coca-Cola, that is not less than, that more than 250,000, the same amount of money, which is about 1.2 to $1,250,000, which cannot, even if they give us that money to use it to do whatever we want, cannot execute one home and away qualifier for the Super Eagles. But people will always be talking about people has given them money, people have done this, people have done that. So also CAF. CAF is giving an NFF in an annual basis $500,000. And when you go to the sponsors, when we came on board, we made contracts with a lot of sponsors. Most of the sponsors that we are having now, I met them there, and contracts were signed for 4 years, 5 years. A contract was signed in 2021 or 2022 at the rate of 300 million naira. As at that time, 300 million can give you maybe $700,000. Now I'm still with that 300 million because they cannot change it. It's a contract. It's now coming back to $200,000. That is where we are. 90% of our internally generated revenue through sponsors, I made those contracts. And there's nothing I can do with it until and unless those contracts ends, that we can go and renegotiate.
President, there's this case. I don't know much about it. Let me confess, I don't know much about it. But it's a FIFA-funded project, one in the north, one in the south, of facilities to be developed. And of recent, it was all over the social media that those facilities have been abandoned. And what was just running through my mind is that when we have successive NFF regimes, don't they pass on responsibility to the next board to take responsibility? What do you know about those FIFA-funded facilities that are uncompleted one in the South-South, or South, yeah, I think it's in the South-South, and one somewhere in the North? Do you know about that?
Well, first of all, let me correct one impression that we are given. You just said now, the one in the North has been fully completed. And people that funded the project were at the commissioning of the project. And they will mention it clearly to the world. Even on their website, they are satisfied with what they saw.
Very good.
And they congratulate the people of Kebbi State and Nigeria at large. So the issue of Kebbi, there's any hard feeling about it. What you saw going on social media, some people, if they want to start to do anything they want to do, they want to start making all kinds of things, an allegation they want to do. You see, they can say whatever they say, and they took a picture that was the facility was half completed, and they started running about. Why didn't they brought in the picture where the governor, as well as the people were at the venue of commissioning the project? Nobody has brought it out to send it on social media. So that project was duly completed as per people's specification of what they want, what they approve to be executed with that money, and they were happy about it, and they say it to the world. The issue of Oborodo, yes, as I have said earlier, government is a continuous process. And even if somebody left, you have to take it up from there. Project was abandoned in Oborodo. Oborodo is a very complicated area. And then sometimes I used to ask myself, I listen to even the contractor and the rest of them, they will tell you that money cannot even do that project. Because this is the money they gave, the same money they gave to do KB project and the same money to do Oborodo. And I asked myself, take, for example, I invited you to come to me and that I have a project, you are specialist in this kind of project. And I invite you that I have a work for you. And I told you, this is why I want you to go and do this for me. Can you please go and get us your quotation and your plan and everything? And then at the end of the day, I told you, this is the money, exact money I have for this project. And if you feel that money cannot execute that project, why in the first instance will you accept to sign and accept that that money will do that project? Because you cannot accept contract when you know what is going to be given to you will not execute the contract. So that's where some of the bottom line of all these problems started. And then Oborodo is a very complicated place where you have to enter the boat sometimes for 2 hours, 3 hours before you even get to the site. Every single thing you want to take to that site, you must use the boat. And you must ferry on water for nothing less than 2 to 3 hours.
So what did NFF go to do there? You were part of that body.
But the issue there is the people staying there are Nigerians. And there are young people that you also want to aspire to see that today you see a star footballer from Oborodo community. So people want, and one of the slogan of people is to see that they make facilities available for every child all over the world to have access to play football on a good pitch. It's one of their cardinal aim and principles. So I think when the leadership of NFF then think of taking into that facility, to that area, maybe that is what is the intention of the leadership to achieve. Now, as I have told you in Benin Kebbi, till now that I'm talking to you, there's no any single facility in Kebbi State that is up to the standard of that facility. Till now. So as far as I'm concerned, people have achieved one major aim they want to achieve, taking facilities to where young boys and girls don't have such facilities and they should have the opportunity to play football on a good pitch. And as I'm talking to you, for the past 2 seasons, NNL, the second tier league of Nigeria, Kebbi United is playing in the National League. They played all their matches in that facility. Last year, Zamfara United, my own state, because they are renovating the little stadium they have, Zamfara United has to go to Kebbi and use that facility to play all their home matches in that facility. So maybe the leadership that time want to see that at least they give such type of opportunity to the community or the people around that area that feel neglected to have access to good pitch so that maybe we can get some little talent from that environment. Maybe that was the intention. But we tried our best and it became practically difficult. And as I have said, we have little control on this project because people have the major responsibility of monitoring what is going on there. And the money are not kept in NFF. Even now, the money for overall project, the balance of the money is not in NFF. It's still with people. And the consultants that people appointed to monitor, to supervise those projects must write to people that he is satisfied the work has reached the level of that is supposed to reach as per the money release before people can release the next tranche of money. So as far as the consultant is concerned, that project did not reach the level of which it's supposed to reach before they can release the next tranche of money. And then the bottle started from there. We did our best. The contractor will say, he has done this, he has reached this, while the consultant will say, no, this is where it is. I even go to the level of say, okay, all of you, let us stay aside. Let us hire an independent consultant to go to the Ovorodo and bring us a record of what exactly is there. What is the level of work done? And when he brought the report back to us, still it shows that the level of work did not reach the amount being paid to the contractor. Therefore, people are instructed that we should tell them to go back to site. And when they did not go back, as I'm talking to you, as far as we are concerned, as the board is concerned, we have already terminated that contract. And we have reported to people, and then we are trying to take certain actions. People insist we have to take action in recovering the funds that were not utilized by the contractor, which we are trying to do that. So that balance of money, we can still have access to do whatever we feel we can do with that balance of money with people that will benefit Nigerian football.
President, this question before we go on a short break. What do you feel? How do you feel? I will tell you how I feel. You know, when I was playing so many decades ago, if you went to Kaduna, you will find that international teams and matches were played in Kaduna. If you went to Calabar, Calabar had one of the best football pitches in the whole of Africa. The maintenance regime of the Calabar Stadium was like, people actually went there to watch the process of taking care and tendering those pitches. It was like a tourist destination. The same thing in Ibadan. The same thing in Enugu. How do you feel as president of the biggest football league in Africa that Nigeria has only one football ground that can host grade A international matches, all our World Cup matches, we have to take to Uyo because we don't have any other ground that is acceptable, that is of quality, and so on and so forth. How do you feel as president of the NFF?
Well, I feel extremely bad because I know what I'm going through. And I can say I know what we are going through as a board and as a federation. But as you all know, facilities like stadiums are not properties of NFF. In the case of Nigeria, they are even properties of state governments, except the one in Abuja and maybe the National Stadium in Lagos. All other stadiums are owned by the state governments. So when we came on board and we found ourselves in this kind of problem, the only thing we can do is to try and see how we can meet the owners of this facility, to see how we can talk to them, to see how we can plead with them. Even the Akwa Ibom Stadium that you see that is still alive, that we are using to play. When this governor come into his administration, when he saw the amount of money Julius Berger is being paid to maintain that facility, he was a little bit adamant on thinking of how can you spend that kind of money just for maintenance. We have to intervene, and we have to talk to him, we have to beg him to see how he can please allow them to continue maintaining that facility, because that is why it is still called what it is. If that maintenance is not there, we could have not been talking about that stadium. And to God be the glory, he accepted, and then he issued back the contract to Julius Berger to continue maintaining the facility. But as I have said, we have to go back to the governors. And I know right now, as I'm talking to you, I have about 6 or 7 states that were able to convince to see how they can do a major work, renovation work in their own facility. There's one that is even constructing a brand new stadium, like in Bielsa. We're able to convince him. And when you got there, you know that at least there is some level of seriousness in what they are doing. In Delta State, we're able to convince the governor, if you go to Warri now and see the Warri Township Stadium, you know that something is going on there reasonably that we can be proud of in a couple of maybe a year to come. In Lagos, we're able to see the governor, and he's working on Teslim Balogun Stadium. Just recently, they are back to site, and work is extremely going on there. When you come to Kaduna, Ahmadu Bello State, the entire stadium has been put down. Work has started. We're able to talk with the governor, and he's doing a massive work there. So that's the only thing we can do. But as I have said earlier, when we came on board and we found that situation, we were just thinking of where do we start? Because there's no way you can play football without facilities. And as I have said, we feel much of the fame. Because now, take for example, we are going to Uyo to play matches. Supposing we are going to play it in Abuja, or we are going to play it in Lagos, I don't need to transport any player. If he land in Abuja or he land in Lagos to be going to Uyo, sometimes it's extremely difficult for me. Sometimes I have to call some wealthy individuals or some government agencies that I knew they have private jets to help us fly some of our players for them to catch up their flights, or for them not to be late, because if a player arrive around 3-4 o'clock, he cannot catch up the 5 o'clock going to Uyo. Therefore, he has to sleep in Lagos. So we could have not been going into those kind of unnecessary distraction. So we knew quite well it's going to be a serious problem to us. But as I've said, the only way we can do it is to make sure that at least we go to these governors who are the owners of the facility to talk to them. And thank God, most of them are listening to us. If you go to Jos also, you see the massive work the government is doing. If you go to Adamawa, a stadium that was abandoned for over 30 years, the governor has put it back to life. Why we even did not go there to say we're commissioning that stadium, because he said it's a sporting complex. You want to put some of the infrastructures outside, like the basketball and the rest of it. But the pitch and everything in the start stadium has been completed. So some of them are listening to us, and I know by the grace of God, in just a couple of short time, we're going to get out of that problem. Because I can tell you, sometimes you go to certain places and you feel very bad. I was in the executive committee meeting of CAF, maybe about 3 weeks ago. CAF has opened bidding for hosting of their tournament, from AFCON to under-17 to even Pulsar, both male and female. Now, countries have bidded. So they are trying to highlight to us, because bidding has been closed. Let us see on AFCON who and who bidded for 2027 AFCON, who and who bidded for 2029 AFCON, who and who bidded for 2031, because they said they open bid up to 2031. In all that bids, there's nowhere Nigeria come in. We can't go and bid because we don't have the facility to host tournaments. So I was just sitting there, and I don't even want to look at myself. And everybody was looking at me as Nigeria. Somebody he started asking me, Nigeria is not here on this list about almost 20, 30 tournaments. But you cannot go and commit yourself when you know that they don't have the facility to do it. But as I have said, in the next 1 year or two, I am very sure that we are going to get out of that mess, because I see a lot of commitment and seriousness in at least 6 venues, 6 states with the governors. and we are monitoring it day and night, and they listen to us. When you talk about that, you see, some people can talk anything. The facility is not only about where Super Eagles can play grade A matches. Come to Abuja. In the entire Abuja, you don't have a good standard pitch, training pitch. Forget about the stadium, training pitch that Super Eagles can train. If I come under 20, under 17, under some 3 months back, we have about 4 of those junior category teams in camp. And all of them are using one facility to train. And that facility has been was constructed about 15 years ago. So how do we develop football in that kind of environment? And that is why you see, I'm happy, as we invited you, we insisted the 3.0 funds that FIFA is giving Nigeria to do certain projects. We insisted we want to have a hostel and we want to have 2 pitches, because without a proper environment of training and camping, there is no way you can develop football. And by the grace of God, I know quite well if we achieve that, a lot of narratives will change.
President, let's just take a short 1-minute break. You have been listening to the president of the Nigeria Football Federation, Alhaji. We never call you Alhaji, but I know you are an Alhaji. Alhaji Ibrahim Musa Gusau. Malam Ibrahim Musa Gusau, member of the Order of the Niger. And we've been doing that for 45 minutes now. Can you believe it? Well, we would come back. There are still issues to talk about, and then we'll give people the opportunity to make their telephone calls. This is Eagle 7 Sports Radio. And by the way, 2 weeks ago, we were declared the most viewed, the most listened to radio station in the whole of Ogun State. And we are listened to all over the world as we speak. This is Eagle 7 Sports Radio. 90 minutes with mathematical. President, you haven't visited Wasimi to come and see the facilities we have there.
I was not invited.
Maybe you will bring the maybe you will start bringing the Super Eagles to come and camp in Wasimi.
Yeah.
Yes.
Is the facility okay? Are you sure?
Come and see now. Come and see. Okay, I will invite you. I will invite you. Well, okay, so let's just go on. The primary responsibility of the Nigeria Football Federation for most Nigerians, you were talking of development, is what we do internally in Nigeria, how we develop the football in Nigeria. But it appears that, the NFF is more interested, maybe that's what it looks like, is more interested in the international competitions and all of those things, and is distracted from managing the domestic football scene. A couple of weeks ago, you and I and Shehu Diko and Bukola Olokbade and the vice chairman, Elegbele, we were all at Moshood Abiola Stadium when a team from South Africa came and took on our own champion team in Nigeria. And they taught us how to play football. And it was a reflection of the level of our local football league. Are we not, taking our eyes off the domestic scene? We have not won anything in Africa at club level for so many years. Our players are just disappearing into the universe of football anyhow. We don't have sponsorships of the domestic league. We can't watch the domestic league properly. So many things are not happening that should be happening, that should be the foundation of the national teams that all of us focus on. What is your take on the contributions of the NFF under you in developing our domestic football generally?
Well, all I can say, first of all, is that I know we are doing our best. And we attributed these problems we are talking about majorly on two issues. Number one, the economic situation of the country. And then number two, the issue of infrastructure. When I talk about the economic situation of the country, if you can recall, when you were playing football at the league level in Nigeria, maybe that time is not more than 50 kobo for get tickets. But if you are going to Ibadan to watch the ICC for a 4 o'clock match, by 12 midday, you can't find a place to get into that stadium. Even at that level, every single footballing fan has the capacity to go and buy his ticket and get into the stadium. Now, when we come to the current situation now, if you go to Ibadan now, 3SC is playing, and you put the get tickets at 1,000 naira. When you do the little arithmetic of where people are going to come from to come to the Lakers Salami Stadium to watch 3SC, you are going to calculate an average of 4,000 to 5,000 naira, including their transport and whatever they are going to take in the stadium. How many people can afford that? And even if they pay 1,000 naira to get into the stadium, what is that amount of money when you talk of 1,000 naira? At the end of the day, even if they fill the stadium of 8,000 capacity, it cannot even pay the match bonus and the logistics of the match for that day. So economic situation has a lot that is going on into this sector, because there's no way you can have a better player and better team without having enough resources. And these resources must be generated through whatever ways, the get takings. And when I talk about the facility, we engage a lot of corporate organizations that can support us. The highest revenue you can earn in football is through media broadcast. It's through broadcast. And when we talk to them, they go to our stadiums, the environment is not much coverage that can be distributed to the world. I can give you an example. We're still now, up till now, we're having talks with IMG. IMG is a company that branded the English Premier League from its scratch to where it is now. When they came in, they come there to do their audits of our facilities. They realized that a lot of work needs to be done for them to come and get what they want that can be distributed to the world for us to get the revenue we deserve to get. So it's a very disturbing situation, but to something that most of the things that we have control on, we try to do our best to see that we do it. Some of the sponsors, they will tell you, how can we come and invest in a league that we don't even know when it starts and we don't even know when it ends? Or there can be match today, tomorrow you can hear that the match has been cancelled.
So
we
who
try
is
as much as possible to make sure
who
that...
is to blame? You know, you have been saying these things, but who is to blame? You are the responsible body.
What I'm saying, we made that in place. But as I'm talking to you now, it's no more there. It's not existing. It's not existing. The date we fixed to start our league, we started on that very day. And the date now, if you call the league, they'll tell you when the league will end. And the league will end on that day. And by the grace of God, just the last season that ended, we ended the last season the same day with all the major leagues of the world, including the Premier League. In fact, we announced the winner of the league the same day the English Premier League announced their own winner of the league. 3 matches to the end of the league. So we try to make sure that we stabilize that area. And you cannot just meet something that is going on and you think you can correct it in a day. But I knew that at least a certain level of progress has been made. Even when you come to the era of officiating. Yes, we still have problems. Some people will talk about referees, yes. But there are improvements. Because even this season, go and look at the record. 3SC lost a match at home. The next week, they go to Enugu and they won a match, which before, it cannot happen like that. A lot of clubs, they will lose a match this week in their home, and next week they will go away and win an away match, which was not the story before. And you see, a lot of people will talk our referees. When we came in, we met that most of these referees they are talking about, what people don't understand is we are now grooming some young referees that by the grace of God, in the couple of 1 or 2, 3 years, this issue of not seeing Nigerian referees officiating at the continental level or world level, it will be a thing of the past because they don't know it's graduation. It's just like when the referee started training in Nigeria as a referees trainer, we have to start him with the nationwide league. Then from there, he will be promoted to the national league. Then from there, he will be promoted to officiate in the Premier. So it is at the club level. Even if you are given a FIFA badge today, there's no way they can invite you to go and officiate tournaments. There are stages that you have to go. They must be sure that who are we taking to go to officiate our tournament. And we are at that process. I can proudly tell you that now in the Premier League, I have about 20 young referees, boys and girls, that are not more than 20 years. And they are officiating perfectly well in the Premier League, which was not the story before.
Okay, President. Just a few days ago, you had an executive board meeting, and part of the communique released by the NFF is an indictment of the Nigerian referees to say you are dissatisfied with what the referees are doing domestically. This was just a few days ago. It's public knowledge. So we know that you are doing some things about it. But we are running out of time, and we still have some grounds to cover. The next phase of our national team activities is in Morocco. We are preparing for AFCON. In the next few days, AFCON will start. Nigerians are not really very interested in AFCON. So let us try and lift their spirit a little bit. President, what is the mandate that you have given Eric Chell as we go to AFCON 2025? What is the mandate that you have given Eric Chell? So that when we go there and we finish this competition, we can come back and say, okay, this is what you gave him, this is what he has achieved, and there will be no controversy about whether he delivered or not. What is the mandate you gave him?
Well, the mandate is for him to get to the final of the tournament.
Finish.
Yes.
He gets to the final, he has delivered.
Yes.
Do you have any input as president of the Nigeria Football Federation in the invitation of players to the national team? Nigerians have just seen a list of players invited, and the reactions, you don't check the internet, it is everywhere. Some of our immediate past national team members have also made their comments. They are asking some valid questions. Why would you drop a player playing in the first division of the Italian league of Serie A, and you pick a player for the same position who is playing in the Tanzanian or Cyprian league? So what I'm saying is there's controversy about players that have been invited, some of the players that have been invited for the national team. Do you have any input at all as president for choice of players?
Well, thank you very much. I think, as you said, you have a lot of your colleagues or even your boys that have coached the national team during this era of our leadership. You can privately ask any of them. The most simplest area that you can even be involved, maybe, let us say, at the junior level. But for Super Eagles, why do you see people are talking? Because they can tell you this person play in Serie A. But when you are talking about under 17, nobody can tell you where the children will come from. So go and ask every single coach privately that you know to tell you between him and his God, if there was any day me, Ibrahim Gusau, as the president of NFF, has ever called him to say this is a player that you must take into that team. I have never done that. And I know quite well, some few days ago, a week, if you know, the technical committee has a meeting with Eric Shell. And when people are talking, I want us to be very careful about what is going on, especially in social media. Because there are a lot of interest, a lot of interest. The environment is highly polluted. Every sector of footballing, every area of footballing sector, you will see that you find a lot of agents roaming about in that sector. So if a player of so person, or my player, or so person of a player of a friend that is an agent is not there, and the agent gives somebody a different story, you take it as a story to go and tell. Football is scientific. Even if you are playing in Serie A and you are being seated on the bench, you hardly play 20, 25 minutes. And somebody is playing in a league that he plays week in, week out, and he's performing extremely well. How can you invite a player that's in Serie A that's seated on the bench to play? I think the coaches have a mandate. And football now is scientific. And every coach has a pattern of play he wants to play. And as I said, football is science. You can see somebody playing in Serie A, but the pattern the coach wants to play, when he watches matches, he watches videos, he feels he cannot adapt to what he wants to do. So, but people can go there and be talking without making proper investigation to know why. But because of certain interests, as I've said, the environment is highly polluted because of this agent issue, and which come from all sectors, being it the coaches, being it media people. You see a lot of them are now agents. So they can talk anyhow when it comes to selection of players. Unfortunately for them, these players, as I have said in the senior national team, are players that are known by everybody. And are players that if you want to know the history of each and every player now, if we finish within the next 20 minutes, you can get the information you want to get. So I have never, and I will never have any input or any interest in telling the coach what he or who or which player he will invite. Let me make it short. Since I became president, I have never even stayed in one hotel with the senior national team, wherever they go, because I don't want to distract the coach. I don't want any distraction with the players. I want them to concentrate and do their job. So I've never done that, and I will never do that.
You spoke about football and science, the scientific side of football. And yes, it is everywhere, we know. There are these digital analysts who are everywhere. And Nigeria happened to have one of the very best. He was on my show last week, Biodun Ilori, and he has facilities that can be used by anybody who is close to him. He worked with the NFF for so many years, but he's not there anymore. And I'm just thinking now, why are we not using somebody like that, to make it easier for us? I was wondering when I spoke with him last week that Nigeria could let such, a deep, rich facility just go away like that. What is it about that work that he was doing, monitoring players all over the world for the NFF? Do you know him, Biodun Ilori?
I know him quite well, but he's not monitoring players for NFF. He has not been monitoring players for NFF.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so he tried to create an NFF app. Later on, it turned to NFF TV.
Yes.
But he was not monitoring players for NFF. It has not got
facilities.
What I'm saying,
yeah, okay.
To the level I met him, he's not monitoring players for NFF. Okay. He may have the facility, but they have not gotten to that level. This is what I know. And now you are running a small portion of what you are doing with your radio station through the digital empire. If you want to make money, one of the key things that you do, you have to try and use whatever opportunity you can get through the social media handles to get what you can get to sustain that thing. Yeah. Program you're doing. Isn't it?
Yeah.
When I came on board, he was working with NFF for over 8 years. And every single time you see him moving with NFF, it goes under the sponsorship of NFF. And we're saying we have NFF TV. When I came, I asked a simple question. Can we continue like this? We are saying that we have an NFF TV but there's no way revenue is coming into NFF. To me, I don't think it's fair. And I cannot continue to be spending money from NFF that I'm supposed to use to develop this football when I'm expecting that this program we're doing is supposed to bring some revenue for us in order to add and do some other job. I try all I can. That couldn't work. And when the bottom of the problem started is I cannot be sponsoring you with your equipment that you can make us to generate revenue. And I will now be using NFF money that has been used for over 8 years without one dime coming back to NFF. I will not continue like that. We have to sit down and reach an agreement on how it's going to work and how it's going to happen. And I must see how the revenue will come and how are we going to share the revenue. That's why the whole situation is still up. And okay. I said I will not spend NFF money.
Okay. This is 90 Minutes with Mathematical, Eagle 7 Sports Radio, 103.7 FM. Now the telephone lines are open. We'll be able to take 1 or 2 calls only because, we are really running out of time. President, how far can the Super Eagles go at AFCON 2025? You are sitting, I'm looking at your face, sir. Look very confident.
My name is President.
This confidence, I don't think is shared by everybody. How far can the Super Eagles go? Tell us candidly now.
As I said, we go through a very big battle and big process with you in Abidjan. And then, so I still have the belief and have the confidence that, as I told you earlier, that the mandate to Eric is for us to get to the final. And when we get there, the end of it will come off. But I have every confidence that we are going to play at the finals of AFCON in Morocco this year, by the grace of God.
The telephone number again for the last time, 0700 2255 1037.
I think somebody is calling. I hear somebody is saying hello.
Yeah, well, we have our first caller. Good morning. Hello.
Hello.
Hello, do we have Ini?
Hello.
Hello. We have a caller online, so what's going on? Okay, I think that is so
Hello.
President, now that we have another caller online. Hello.
Hello.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Yes, so speak up so that the president can hear you clearly. Where are you calling from? What's your name? Okay, they are here, he has gone. President, this flood of players, Nigerian players, we have the largest number of players outside of Africa, in Europe. This flood, this exodus, you're talking of agents and everybody's a manager, we are just selling players and so on and so forth. What kind of control are you thinking of putting in place? Is it beneficial to us? What kind of control are you thinking of putting in place to just at least reduce this reckless flood of players?
Well, you see, according to FIFA regulation, we have little or not much to do in controlling the migration of players. Because once a club sees a talented player and they seek for his interest to be part of them, and he agrees, even if at the younger age, the key thing is there are criteria. Once the club or the agent made those criteria, you don't have any right whatsoever to stop him from going. Because the entire system is being controlled of their movement by people. So we have little or not much. But as I've said earlier, one of the key problems we have that is making all this higher level migration going on in the country is all the economic sector. Sometimes, even if you advise the parents Because the only thing we can do is to sit down with the parents and advise them. But the moment somebody meet them in their house, talk to them, and he brings some little money that can change their own psyche and drop it to them, from there they will not even answer your call. They will say you are just trying to stop them from the blessing of God. Their child is going to miss some blessing and you are trying to stop them from the blessing of God. So we have little or not much to do.
Okay, we have a caller. We have a caller, President. I just want you to hear the public. Let's just try and take this if it will come through. Hello, good morning.
Yes, hello.
Hello, good morning. Who are you? Where are you calling from? Yes, go on.
Yes, good day, my senior colleagues. Yeah, Uncle Shegun.
Yes, I can hear you. Go on.
Okay. And the NFF chairman or president, Malam Ibrahim Bissau. It's a pleasure. It's a pleasure having you guys and also communicating with you guys from China.
You are calling from China. What's your
I'm
name?
the CEO of the Hunan Galaxy Global Trade Development China. Okay.
Go on, so that we don't lose you.
Yeah, okay. Okay. Please, sir, my questions are for the NFF chairman. And I have a couple of questions. I hope that I can be able to present them.
Go on quickly.
Okay. Yes, my first question is about the World Cup that Nigeria, we just crashed out, the Super Eagles crashed out. And the first question is, after the Super Eagles crashing out of the World Cup, don't you, as the president of the NFF, see the need to call for a kind of revival for our football, especially for our Super Eagles? Because this is not the first time, this is the second time in a row that we are missing out of the World Cup. So will it be okay if the federation will just continue working this way, or call the stakeholders of our football together and sit on the table before taking any other step? This is my first question.
That's a good question. That's a good question. Tell us your name before we go. We don't have so much time. What's your name?
Okay, I am Austin Akpehi. I'm calling from China. I am the executive chairman of Hunan Galaxy Global Trade Development China.
Fantastic. So thank you very much, because we don't have so much time, but that's a very, very good question. President, what he said, I'm sure you heard, is that 2 times in a row we have failed to go to the World Cup. There must have been certain things that are wrong. Why have you not called a stakeholders meeting, put things on the table so that people can now come and impute what is responsible and do something about it?
Well, thank you very much. What did he say is his name? Calling from China is
Austin.
Austin is happy to hear that at least you are calling from China. That shows the level of how far this program has gone, and we're happy to see that at least Nigerians from all over the world can hear what we're saying, because they deserve to know what exactly is going on. Well, actually, Austin, we're all not happy about what happened, as you said, 2 times in a row. But the first step we have taken is that to make sure that the technical committee that we have sat down with the coach, due to a stringency of time, don't forget we just finished the play-up. We have not more than 1 month to another major tournament, which is the AFCON. So we feel whatever discussion we are going to invite people to come and discuss with us to advise on the way forward, are not something that can be implemented into this tournament we are going into. So we feel it's important. Let us use the little mechanism, internal mechanism we have to see how we can make some adjustment to face the challenges of the tournament that is coming up within the couple of days. Then after that, we can now look at holistically what exactly is going on. Then we go to the level of inviting certain people and experts to see how we can come together and get their own advices on a way forward. But basically, we have that plan. And why we just started with the internal mechanism of how we are going to face certain issues for us to approach the next AFCON that we are going to start within the next couple of days. But before that, we will see what we are going to do about it.
Okay, we have another caller online. Hello, good morning.
Good morning.
Yes, how are you? Where are you calling from?
Yes, sir. My name is Mr. Golden. I'm calling from Abeokuta.
Oh, Mr. Peter Golding. Okay, go ahead.
Yes, sir.
This one is calling from.
Mr. President, good morning. Yes. I have a question. For right now, I'm telling you, an average Nigerian, the morale of average Nigerian is very, very low. Football loving Nigeria is very, very low concerning the Super Eagles. So, Mr. President, how are your team doing to bring that morale high? Because this forthcoming, because of what happened in the next World Cup and the other things, now the average morale of the Nigerian loving football is very, very low. How are you going to brush it out? And another question I have to ask is that I heard the one you said that when you are in the Super Cast Executive meeting, there is a bidding up to 2031 or something like that. And you could not be because of our infrastructure. And you told us that within a year, we are going to have a very tangible business. Why not use, if you give assurance that within a year, we are going to have a tangible business, our state will be all right. Why not do that? Because it's up to 2031. Why don't you do that for it? And my third question is, how do you manage information that is in the public domain? That information I had that they get that round at 17. When they came back, the NFF gives them 100,000 naira each. And we not hear anything from the NFF to say that this is true or false. How do you people manage information that is in public domain? That's my question. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Mr. Goldie. Well, I hope you heard all the three questions.
So, Mr. Goldie, thank you very much. By the grace of God, by the 18th of January, you will come back to tell mathematical through this medium that the hope of Nigeria is back as far as Super Eagles is concerned. I pray and I am telling you by the grace of God that will happen. And secondly, when you talk about the bidding, there are so many processes in bidding. Now, when a bidding is closed, you have to go and depend what you are bidding, what you want to bid for, and why are you bidding for it. And that has to do with the piece with some graphic photographs of what you have on ground to make sure that you can bid for that. But the issue there is we don't have that. We don't want to create something that at the end of the day, we come and we go to the point that it is going to be our time to fix those things, and we do not fix it. And you heard that Nigeria couldn't do this, Nigeria couldn't do that. Why we don't want to take that risk is because we at the NFF are not in control of those facilities. As I told you, when you go to Teslim Balogun Stadium, for the past 2 years, we have been running bottle up and down to make sure that that place is being fixed. Up to now, they're still working on it. So we don't want to take risks because we are not in control of those facilities. Therefore, we cannot say the facility will end in the next 1 year. And then when you talk about...
You are owing our junior players 1,000.
You should tell them, junior players are not playing to get put. They are not being put. They are teenagers. They don't pay them money. They are for development. We only give them transport and we take care of them. They are for development. We don't give them money. They are only for development, not for giving them money. So I want him to take note of that.
Okay.
Even it's just about to make sure that we develop them and we make sure that they have their own transport. What was given to them is their transport. So once you are a teenager, you are not to be introduced into money because we give them bonuses.
So maybe the transport money is what they have not received yet.
Money.
He said they have paid them. He said they have given them 100,000.
Hello, sir.
Okay, President. Do we have a last caller?
Hello, Mathematica.
Okay, good morning.
Good morning, sir. I'm calling from Abeokuta. Oladile is the name. I want to greet the NFF President there. You see, we've experienced it in Nigeria that World Cup, no day. But that is just one of those things. You win some, you lose some. This is one of the downtime of Nigerian football and Super Eagles in particular. But what is the way out? Look at 8th grade competition. This one we don't have. Under 17 we don't have. Under 20 no day. Under 30 no day. As usual, all those under. That has been the nursery of our footballers in Nigeria. Here we have virtually all the Super Eagles players. Now we rely so much on the diaspora players. What is happening? What is the NFF President doing about this? We need to just do it. We cannot just be bringing those players from abroad, all the level players. Not that they are not good, but let us see something locally, that we are doing something. Let us have Super Eagle 11 at home. First, then let those people come from abroad and let them play together. The likes of whatever, they are from this league now. What is the problem? NFF President, sir. What is the problem? Let us find solutions to our problem.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Chief Oladile, thank you, Chief. That's another good question.
Yeah, but I know, Chief Oladile, you are part of people that were the fans of Chief Odegbami when he was playing. You can ask him that simple question. During his time of play, how many of his mates left the source of this country to go outside and play football? Yes, that time, that was not there. So therefore, we must use those that were nobody is going out. Chief Oladile, I want you to take note of this. If we call for an under-17 camp today, preparing for a WAFU tournament, which is the first stage of their tournament, immediately we come back from that WAFU tournament. 5 best young players in that team, if you give them 1 month, you'll not find them in Nigeria. And there's nothing we can do about it, just as I have explained earlier. When you go to that tournament, wherever it is taking place, you will see a lot of scouts seated there. After that tournament, if we're calling for the next stage of the tournament, that is at the continental level, you will find that about 6 to 7 of those players are already out. They have now become professionals. Wow. So also with our under 20. And when you are talking about that, Chief, when we finish this program, go and Google and people website and look. Morocco just won the under 20 World Cup. Go and Google and see, out of 23 players they went to the World Cup with under 20, 18 of those under 20 players are foreign players. 18 out of that 23-man players they went to Chile with are foreign players. But in our own under 20 that we took to Chile, we are only to take 3 foreign players. All the rest are from the source of Nigeria. So we are doing our best to see how we can control it, but there's a limit to what we can do. Because the moment we call these young kids to come, we come back from tournament and we send them back to their homes. From there, you don't have any control whatsoever of what is going to happen with them. But it's not something that is easy.
We have been educated to some extent about the workings within the Nigeria Football Federation and how they perceive the developments around Nigerian football up till now. I hope that the public will take that to heart. We are facing AFCON in the next few days. Whether we like it or not, that's the reality. And we should support our own. We should support the national team as they go out there, and we should pray for them so that they do well, particularly those of us who are stakeholders, who are in the business of sports generally. When the team doesn't do well, we are out of business. For the first time since 1978, and AFCON will be coming up, and I am not even thinking of going. There's nobody calling me up to say, look, we want to even sponsor you to go. I don't have the resources to go myself. So AFCON will come and go just like that. And I'm one of the biggest people in the industry in Nigeria. And yet, that is the effect of losing a very important match on the industry and on people like us who are in that business. So every day I mourn because it has affected me in a lot of ways. I'm not able to deliver to Nigerians what I usually do, with my reports and my coverages and so on and so forth. So that's how it is. But we just pray that the situation will improve and our national team, the Super Eagles, will do well in Morocco so that our spirits will be lifted a little bit. The times are not very favorable generally for football these days. We hope that tide will turn and help us to lift the spirit of Nigeria generally. So once again, I want to thank you all for being a part of the show this morning. Don't forget, I did not read my editorial, but I assure you that it is a document, it is an article, it is a column that you must get a copy of and read because it is deep, it speaks to the subject of some national subject, particularly the issue of security in the country, its relationship to sports, and of course, how all of that is put together by a new sheriff in town. So we will I think my guest is back. I have appealed to my technical crew. Just give us a few more minutes so that I can take the last two questions. No more telephone calls. I can just ask the president the last two questions and then we'll be gone. Okay? President, are you back there? You're welcome back.
Thank you very much.
I just have two more questions to go. But first, let me thank you for your patience.
Almost 1 hour, 30 minutes, more than that.
Honest. See how quickly it goes. And we haven't had any interruptions. I didn't do my editorial because I wanted Nigerians to hear you. I wanted us to cover as much as we possibly can. We cannot cover all of it, but there are just these last two questions I want to ask. One, because, my constituency is football. I'm a footballer first. Before I am a journalist, an administrator, whatever, I'm a footballer. And I know that we footballers have had issues with football administration in this country through the years, and we still do. Shortly before you became president of the Nigeria Football Federation, there were crises, particularly before the elections. And one of the decisions taken at that time came from the presidency of Nigeria, where it was recommended that the Nigeria Football Federation should make amendments in the constitution of the NFF that would accommodate certain stakeholders that have been omitted, particularly those of the footballers. So my question, why have we not had an amendment reflecting this advice by the president of Nigeria 3 years after you became president?
Thank you very much. Before that election, there are some group of people that took the matter to court, which they were even back and front, but eventually at the end of the day, the election took place. Now that case is still pending in court, but even at that, we have been communicating with people because we are proposing that amendment, as you have said. At our last Congress in Ibadan, we tried to sit down with our Congress in a caucus meeting to discuss on how we are going to come up with this amendment according to the rules that is not going to create any issue so that we achieve what we want to achieve. Don't forget, when you are talking about amendment of a status or constitution or whatever, it's something that is a continuous process. You cannot get it 100%. Even if we do it during our own time, tomorrow some other people will come and still do something about it. Now, immediately after that, our Congress, which we have come up with a process that we want to follow to make sure that this amendment take place in an extraordinary Congress that we're going to call, which is going to be specific for that purpose. The next thing is when we came back, after 2 weeks, a contempt order was sent to me that there's a matter that has to do with our status in court, and we go and start talking about the status. We did not discuss about the status at the Congress. We just held the meeting at a caucus meeting. Nobody discussed about the status at the Congress. But after 2 weeks, I was not even in the country. Myself, the General Secretary, and the people representative that come to attend our Congress. Contempt, this thing was sent to us. Why do we discuss issue of amendment when the issue of that status is in court? So that is where we are now. About 1 week ago, the case was brought up in court. Our lawyer was there to defend it. In the first instance, nobody served us with any notice of anything. So they are with it now, and the case has been shifted to January to February next year. So you can sit down and ask yourself, one of these people you are talking about, they are players, they call themselves, they are also in the players union. Oh, I have to be particular because all this thing that is going on, going to court, talking all kinds of things, is being done by one person. When we are talking about, you want us to do some amendment in the status so that we can bring a lot of stakeholders into the system. Now we are trying to do it. Instead of you to come and meet us to say, okay, now that you are ready to do this, can we sit down and know how it's going to happen so that we can go and withdraw that case? The next thing is we just saw a contempt order being served to us. With that, there's no way we can move on. We have to wait for the decision of the court. So you should ask, that's why we used to ask ourselves, what is wrong? What exactly did they want? Somebody like you cannot do that. But there are a lot of people, they are aware of these people doing all this thing for over 20-something years, as if they are the only ex-players. And they are being allowed to be doing these things that is taking everything backward. As I have said, there's nothing wrong in when you had us trying to do it. We want to invite everybody before we go to the extraordinary Congress. But the next thing we'll receive a contempt order from court. There's nothing we can do about it. So that's where we are now.
Okay, President, but let me just say that, yes, I understand what you have just said. Yes, also that the players group are underrepresented at the highest level, and it has been so for so many years, and we are not happy with the situation. Whatever it is any group is doing, irrespective of that, we are not happy with the situation. It would be a good thing if the players group are represented.
I want you to be the champion of trying to put that house into order. There can be players group.
It's not about any house. It's not about any house. I'm just expressing that view. I'm not a player anymore.
We cannot just sit down and decide taking players, ex-players from anywhere. There must be an association or union that will control the activities of those ex-players anywhere you go in the world. So once we don't have that, then you cannot have control.
Okay. Okay, President, my final question. This is a tough question, I know. And it is also not tough. When you look at the history of Nigerian football, what decides so many things is Nigeria going to the World Cup. It has terminated the regimes of some NFF or some NFEs. It has sacked coaches. It has dissolved so many things and so on and so forth. Are you going to contest for the next elections into the board of the Nigeria Football Federation in less than a year's time? Haven't experienced everything that you have experienced up till now. I'm looking at your face. I'm seeing you that, yes, you're looking fresh. You have done so much. You have spoken to us about all of these things. So my interest, are you going to contest for the next elections?
When the time comes, the public will know. You will know.
As if I knew.
Now my focus is on the AFCON.
Okay.
Let me finish that one first.
Yes, I know, of course. Of course, you wouldn't have said it.
I don't want to have distraction. I don't want you to distract me.
Okay. Well, I'll give you the opportunity to speak to Nigerians. Finally, just round off for us your thoughts. Finally, before we go. You are talking to Nigerians now.
Well, thank you very much for this opportunity. First of all, I just want to thank you for giving us this opportunity to talk to Nigerians. all over the world, I can say, because our first caller even called from China, as far as China. That shows you how far we have gone and trying to let Nigerians know what we are doing. But all I know is about two of our callers talk about Nigerians losing a lot of hope and confidence in our football, especially the Super Eagles. I want them to look at it and come back to life to give us the support that the Super Eagles need their support now. It is right now that Super Eagles need Nigerians. They should not forget that we only won the AFCON 3 times in the history of that AFCON. They should know that. And there are countries that even won it 7 times. Now, last year, we narrowly missed the AFCON. So, and everybody knows there was high momentum in trying in the support and from all walks of life to see that the Super Eagles won the trophy. We want that to come back. There's no reason whatsoever we can lose hope to our own national team, because that's the only one we have. And I knew that quite well that the boys are really, really, really hungry to see that at least they make history for Nigeria and for themselves. So I want Nigerians to still give us the confidence and give these young boys the confidence that they can still do it again. And by the grace of God, I know they will do it. So, and we are doing our best to make sure that we give them the best of preparation so that at least they'll give us the best. But even at that, support of Nigerians. So I don't want to be here. I don't want to be hearing the language of when Nigerians have lost hope. Please, we should not lose hope. We should come. We should give all the support that is needed so that our dear Super Eagles will make us happy again. And you know what is going on. You and I were in Abidjan last year. When the whole tournament started, we were struggling for ourselves. I know how you have been struggling. But when it goes to the heydays, you couldn't know where you are. Even to access the stadium become a problem to you. So I knew quite well, maybe by the early January, if we move to the quarterfinal, you see that the language will change. And by the grace of God, that will happen in the coming new year, so that every one of us will come back with that confidence. So I want to thank you very much, and I want to thank our listeners. And we are always free to receive advices, because this football is for everybody. And as we all know, it's something that makes us happy, make the country, irrespective of whatever you are, either you are a Muslim or you are Christian or you are from the north or the south. When it comes to football, we all unite. We talk one language. So therefore, we should do whatever we can to see that at least we bring back that hope to the Super Eagles, because it's the only entity that will make Nigerians happy, especially the current situation where we are facing in the country. Thank you very much.
The president of the Nigeria Football Federation, Malam Ibrahim Musa Gusau, all the way from his home. All the way from his home. I want to thank you on behalf of all Nigerians for honoring.
You see that this young boy you met that time, he was just when I told you, see, I have some young beautiful boys here. So
congratulations.
Now after 15 years,
small boy I met in your home then. He's a big man now. Fantastic.
He's a big man. He's even the one organizing my meeting with my this with you.
Of course now. I knew that.
I'm even using his system. I'm even using his laptop to do it.
No wonder. It's looking good. It's looking good. Well done, Mr. President. I thank you very much for honoring me with your presence this morning, for giving me a great breakfast through this conversation. I wish you the very best in all your endeavors. I was saying when it was off that I will not be in Morocco, because for the first time I'm not even thinking of it, because my spirit was also down. There's no business, there's no nothing. But now that you have spoken, I will start to rethink again,